In Israel.
Doing, Leanne?
Yeah, I know. But where?
How
Like
are
where? Where do you
you?
live?
Kiryat
Thank
Ata.
God.
Kiryat Ata? Holy mackerel! That's where my father, Olav Shalom, lived after he got to Israel after the war.
I didn't know that.
He lived. It's a suburb of Haifa, right?
It's the whole area is the suburbs of Haifa. Yeah.
And I remember my aunt lived
Oh,
there,
wow.
a survivor,
I didn't know
and we
that.
used to sit on her front porch and we would be able to see the lights of Haifa.
Well, Phyllis kicked them all out and she took their house. So everything is, you can
Well,
go
I'm
back
just
and
glad.
visit, Avram.
I'm just glad that it's in good hands. That's all. I don't care.
L'chaim.
L'chaim. What,
Just
Serena, wait a minute. Serena, wait a minute.
No, it's not Serena.
It's
That's my
Leanne.
daughter. It's Leanne.
Leanne
That's
Cat.
what I thought. You're messing with me.
Serena, I told you.
And by the way, I'm not Liana.
It's
I, I saw Liana and I'm like, that's me. And then I see Serena and it's not me. I don't have a computer that works
This is my
properly.
wife, Lolly.
Ali.
Hi.
Hi.
This is Leah,
Doing.
Hi, Stephen.
Leanne.
Leanne,
doing?
and Phyllis.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
So what's everybody been up to besides?
One second. This is officially a Memphis thing, right?
Yes.
Right.
Well,
Yes.
well, you can just know. It's okay. It's all good.
Well, Lolly can sit
Phyllis.
next. Lolly can sit next to you, Shlomo. It's okay.
No, that's fine. They're
Phyllis, you look
actually,
the same.
we do? So do you.
40 some
I'm
odd years
telling you.
later, I don't think so.
You do.
You know what's really scary? When I take off my glasses and I see my mother in the mirror, that's scary.
Yeah, well,
Oh, your mother was great. Come on.
It doesn't
The
mean
problem
I'm
is that I have to put on my glasses to not see my mother in the mirror. But
No, when I take mine off, I definitely see my mother.
you know what I do too. And everybody's like, you don't look like your mom. But then I
No.
start talking and everybody's like, yeah,
You
I know
do.
who your mother
You
is.
do.
no, Leanne,
Like
you
you've
look
been,
exactly.
how long have you been in Canada?
Since 85,
Leanne, where do you live?
Toronto.
Yeah, yeah, I was born in Hamilton, right outside of Toronto.
Oh, okay.
All
I
my-
know some
all
of your
my-
cousins. I know some of your cousins.
I would assume so.
Gary?
What neighborhood do you live in?
Thornhill.
Oh, gorgeous. Where the Bayit is.
That's right.
Are you members of that shul?
We are.
So Rabbi Korupkin started
Yes.
in Los Angeles.
Yes. Where do you live? Are you in Los Angeles?
I'm in LA.
Oh, okay. Were you at his shul?
No, he didn't have a shul per se. He was the rabbi of a school, well, and a minyan,
Okay.
a major school that my kids went to. And then we ran him out of town.
That's what we heard. It was specifically Shlomo Seidenfeld.
Okay, wow. Okay, is it just wait a minute, Sarah Beth? Oh, hey, sweetie.
How you doing?
Hi, Sarah Beth.
Hi,
Sarah Beth, are you
Leanne.
back
How
home?
are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Am I back home? Yeah, I'm home. Hey, Steve.
What's doing, Sarah? Does anybody know where Stuart Rabinowitz is?
You know what? The last contact I had with him was about, I want to say 7, 8 years ago, and it was an unfortunate situation. I don't know if you guys know, but Nathan Hershkowitz was nifter.
A long time ago.
It was
A long
years
time ago.
ago.
Long time. Yeah.
Yeah, so Stuart was obviously a close friend of his, so he reached out to me. I reconnected with Nathan here in Los Angeles, and we were in touch with each other. So I was kind of whatever. Anyhow, so I have no idea, but I think he's living on the East Coast somewhere.
Yeah.
But I thought Nathan was Nifter years and
Years-
years ago.
years.
I think like
years
around,
ago.
you think more than 8 years ago?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
But
Exactly.
you would know for sure.
Yeah, I know, but you know what? After a number of years, you just don't have a
Right.
good grasp.
Sarah, Shlomo didn't even remember Serena. Okay. So at the end of the day, his memory is
Sarah Beth's like, what?
I know. I'm thinking the
Who's
same
that?
thing.
What?
It's okay, but my memory is shot.
Do you know what occurred to me?
Join the club,
before-
sweetie.
What occurred to me before I logged on is I don't know who this went to, but I would have loved for Steve Rubel to have found, to know about this.
So somebody has to send him. I don't have everybody's information. Somebody.
I will ask my mother. She
I'll
knows
send
where
it to you right
everybody
now.
is. She knows where everybody is.
Well, no, I have Steve Rubel's contact information, and it didn't occur to me until right before the
I'm
Zoom.
gonna call him and ask him to get on. Is that okay?
Yes, send him
Absolutely.
the link.
Sarah Beth, you remember our trip to Gatlinburg, the three of us? Steve
What?
Rubel, you and I,
Oh my gosh. See?
in his father's Cadillac.
Is
Okay,
that
you don't
true?
remember.
How did that happen? Are you serious?
Oh my God. No, you know what? I think your shaitel's on too tight.
There are a lot of things too tight that are on. I'm sorry to say. One side, that's really not true, but it could be. I'm gonna call Steve right now. Sorry. We're all friends.
Phyllis, one second, Phyllis.
Yes.
What are you crashing this because you have more of a connection to New Orleans than Memphis?
I went to, no,
Wait,
she was
one
in
second.
Memphis.
Say that.
Shlomo, you were gone. She was
gone.
was there 3 of the 4
You
years.
graduated in my ninth
Yeah.
grade year,
She was part of us.
She lived in
but
Memphis.
then we moved to
Oh.
Memphis.
She lived in
Oh
the
my
same
gosh.
apartment complex
We
that we lived
lived, we
in.
Right.
lived like the building next to the Katz's.
I'm like, who are the cat? Oh, right, me. We went,
Yeah, you.
I'm muting my-
we went to your apartment every Friday night.
Yeah, I
Every
basically
Friday.
lived there also.
Yeah.
Except for you guys, my apartment was off limits. You just showed up anyway.
Who, us?
Yeah.
No, the boys
The
in the
boys.
dorm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
that
like
was-
every Friday night after davening is Rabbi Belsky would remind everybody that the Adler apartment is off limits.
And then somehow something miraculous happened and they all showed
I
up.
don't know. I know
Yeah,
Friday
listen,
afternoon, all the
during-
New Orleans guys showed up to do laundry.
before your apartment, it was the Yaffe house. Do you remember that, Steve Geller?
A little bit, yeah.
Sarah Beth, you got information?
You're muted.
You're
Sarah.
muted. You're muted.
He's finishing up a phone call. I'm just, my husband's used to muting me, so I just automatically do it without him even saying anything.
When you
Right?
listen to them, that's amazing.
Yeah. It's a mutual admiration.
That's good.
Steve is about to get on. He's finishing a phone call right now.
Unbelievable.
So I'm
Awesome.
going to send him the information.
Okay.
So where is everyone? I don't know whether we start or we wait for other people to join us. I'd just like to know where everyone is in life. You know, kids, professionally, what angst, whatever.
Oh,
Everything.
gosh.
I
Well,
wanna
why
hear
don't we
everything.
start with you, Shlomo?
I want
Okay, you
meds.
start.
I want to know the meds that you are on. You know,
Do
everything.
you have time?
Shlomo, don't take this personally, but you're,
What?
how can I put,
I know what you're gonna
Ziknei
Wait,
Under what?
Ziknei Shevet. I can't even think in English anymore.
What? One second. I'm
The
not
elder
familiar
of the
with
tribe.
The elder of the
elder
tribe.
of the tribe.
that.
You
Oh,
start.
my goodness. Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you.
But
for
wait,
that.
do we have anybody else who's coming, Stephen?
Julie Roll
Damn
said
it,
she
Stewart,
was.
say anything. Who else is supposed to be in here?
I don't know.
Julie Roll
Julie
said she
Brown
was
said
coming.
she's coming in.
Well, oh, you know, Phyllis wanted to, but she was in the middle of something, I think. Did you see? Didn't she respond?
Oh, here's David. David, Super Bowl
Hey, David.
Hey,
What's doing?
What's up?
oh my gosh, seeing that Memphis sweatshirt brings
Rabbi
me back.
Dave.
Okay, first of all, I have to say hi to Rabbi Finkelstein. I haven't seen you in, I again did the math. I haven't seen you in 41 years. And
That's crazy.
it's very nice to see you. He's like, who is that?
You're muted.
You're muted,
Muted,
Dave.
David.
You're muted. Wait, unmute.
David's not used to the Zoom. He doesn't know exactly what to do.
Yeah. That's my good fortune. I don't know. I know
David,
Sarah
Shalom
Beth. Yeah.
Aleichem.
Hi, Shlomo, how are you?
Baruch Hashem.
Been,
Awesome.
been way too many years.
And
Yeah.
you see Leanne? You see Leanne, right?
Well, now I do. Is that Leanne Katz
It
from
is.
Toronto?
It is.
Leanne, how are you?
Well, thanks. How are you?
Good. It's been a long time.
41 years, just,
How do,
Reminder.
and how do you know it's been 41 years?
I was about to ask that question.
I did the math. because you graduated in 79 and you're 2 years older than me. And then I never saw you again.
Yeah, I was shipped off to a Russian work camp for many
That's what I
years.
heard. Yeah.
And finally I got out in 2004, the big exchange that happened. Hey, I want to switch this, Steve, I want to switch this to my computer. Can you just email me the Zoom?
Yes, give me one quick second.
It was in the WhatsApp.
What's your, yeah, I know, but not everybody gets WhatsApp on the computer. What's your email address?
It's rdave@cherish.com.
Cherish?
Cherish.
SHORESH.
Okay, hold on one second.
Yeah, Leanne, I had to wear a Memphis shirt for the occasion.
Fantastic.
I remember going to those games, Motzei Shabbos.
Oh my gosh. My father had season tickets since the 70s, the 60s even. And that's how we were raised.
You had to know somebody to go.
No, so the
So I
alumni
knew-
used to give the dorm guys.
Yeah,
the tickets.
Cooper used to get us tickets.
I used to go with David, yeah, or Pace all the
So I
time.
went once, I was sitting with Cattell and I went once and I'm sitting next to this little boy and his mother, and the boy's wearing a Saints hat and a Saints jacket and a Saints scarf. And I turned to him and he must have been like 7 years old. And I said, "Are you a Saints fan?" Because I'm a Saints fan, I'm from New Orleans. And the mother says, "No." She says, "We're not," but that was the last thing that was left in the store.
Oh,
Yeah, that
that's
was,
a terrible story.
well, the Saints in the 70s, I mean, it's hard enough to get, oh, Dave's gonna come on the other thing. That was very funny though. All right.
Man, I was so bummed that I had missed the New Orleans one. I was not going to miss this one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there he is.
That was fun.
So
That was
Shlomo,
fun.
we'll start with you. Where you live in LA.
Okay, we're starting with me. Okay, I'm going to
Yes.
do an abbreviated bio. Married for 29 years, 3 girls. I'm knee deep in estrogen.
That's bigamy, no? Yeah, that's,
The first 50
so-
years are the hardest, I heard.
Say that again?
The first 50 years are the hardest, and then it gets easier.
And then it gets easier, right?
Yeah.
Right. 3 girls, 20. My eldest 27-year-old is married. Got married last summer, 2 summers ago. They both live here actually. At my in-laws have a little casita off of their main house, so they're living there. She's getting her master's at UCLA.
That's great.
Then my middle daughter, so her name is Shoshana and Avinom. My middle daughter's name is Eliza. She's 24, soon to be 25. She works for Goldman Sachs and she's going to law school next year, God willing.
Nice.
And then my youngest daughter is Liana Tova, and she just went to Stern for the spring semester of her sophomore year because she was in seminary last year. And I've been in outreach in Kiruv for about 30 some odd years, and I also am in business. I'm also in real estate, so I wear 2 yarmulkes.
That's great.
Fantastic.
What part of LA? What part of LA?
Pico Robertson, if you're familiar with it at all.
Oh, Nagila Pizza, of course. Yes.
No, of course. You know a neighborhood by the well. Now it's Jeff's Sausages, gourmet sausages.
I asked Jeff to marry me years ago and moved to Baltimore because he has the best food there ever. He thought about it, but he stayed.
By the way, I want you to know something, David. The first, if I'm not mistaken, everyone here remembers Alan Auerbach from Atlanta. Remember Alan Auerbach? So
Yeah.
I used to go down when he lived in Baltimore, and I got sick and tired of New York. I was in Chaim Berlin at the time. I got sick and tired of New York, so I used to drive down with him and spend Shabbos with him. And he took me to Baltimore, I think it was called Memorial Field, if I'm not mistaken.
Memorial Stadium.
Memorial Stadium, and I had my first kosher chili dog,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was the first one in the country.
Yeah, it was the first. It was the first ballpark to have kosher food, and then when they switched to Camden Yards, they also had a bigger stand, and we had a minion also there in the 7th inning.
Yeah, the 7th inning shuckle.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I was saying Kaddish for my father, and I led the minion one night, and then there was a bunch of cameras there, and then CNN ran a story that week, that Shabbos. If you're ever going to the ballpark and you need to stop and pray a little bit, this is the best place to do it. So it made it sound like I was on Shabbos at the ball game, leading the minions. So everybody said, "I thought you were Orthodox." I was like, "Yeah, the story didn't really come out the way it was supposed to."
David, you'll do anything for press.
Whatever, full court press.
Anyhow, that's me. That's me in a nutshell. Very short, brief.
Shlomo, you have got to tell your daughter, is she still there in Stern?
She just arrived. She's
She
in
just-
Brookdale. She's in Brookdale Hall. Yeah.
So what floor is she on?
She's on the 8th floor. She wanted to be on one of the lower floors.
I was on the 8th floor. I'm not sure what floor my daughter is on, but Rena Tova is a dorm counselor.
Rena Tova?
And you have got to tell me, do you know what, if you tell me the information, I'll
Well,
tell Rena.
Liana Seidenfeld.
Okay.
And I'm writing down Rena Tova Khan.
Rena Khan.
Oh, she just goes by Rena Khan?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
fine.
think she's on the 9th floor, actually.
That's so funny. My daughter's name is Liana Tova. She only goes by Liana. They skip their middle name Tova completely, both of them. All right.
Shlomo, what kind of curative work do you do?
I do a lot of, well, I started out on the campus doing campus outreach on the East Coast in New York, and then I started a jam at UCLA, and then I moved from there to high school, and then do a lot of teaching for Aisha Torah, and just for different organizations and for private groups.
There's a name of a curative center in the Pico Robinson area on the main street there. He has a shul.
Pico Shul.
What's the guy's name who runs it?
Yona Bookstein?
No, it's a different guy. Maybe Avram something or Abraham. I could be wrong. We went with Shorish one time. He was so gracious, gave us his shul. We were able to eat every day in his social hall. He was just trying to
And it was on Pico?
maybe not exactly in Pico. It wasn't far from Rechlitz's house.
Oh, so that's the other side of town.
Yeah. It was the other
Yeah,
side.
that's Hancock Park. That's La Brea.
Yeah. It was on La Brea. It was
Yeah,
on
yeah,
La
yeah.
Brea.
That's a whole different, that's probably JLE. It's probably Rabbi Chapnick.
Yeah, Rabbi Chaplin. What a great guy.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome.
That's great.
Okay, we've dominated enough of this Zoom. Let's go.
1 second, you didn't tell us. Did you ever go pro with your basketball skills?
Oh, you remember
Of
them?
course.
I still got game.
Oh, there you go. I like
I
it.
still got game, baby. Now, Steve is smirking because
I know
Because-
you so long, but Shlomo, I didn't know you played basketball.
yeah. That's funny. That's hilarious. I was actually better at football. Remember we played flag football? We were in a flag football league.
That was.
Oh yeah, that was. And they were all at. They were trying to hurt Charlie. They're trying to hurt like these guys.
Garfunkel.
Oh yeah, and Paul Levine went over them and said, "If you touch him again,
Sam. No,
Break-
Sam Auerbach was.
Sam." The two of them were the
Jeez.
enforcers.
Yeah.
They said, "We're gonna break your
Yeah.
arms if you."
Do you know that Charlie Garfunkel went to Israel and played pro ball in Israel?
Yeah, I'm in touch with Charlie all the time. He's yeah.
Wow.
Ask him. I think he played ball in
Wow.
Israel.
He's very humble. He really is very humble.
Where does he live in Savannah?
He halfway in Savannah, halftime in Atlanta, because his daughter's going to the girls' school there, and they didn't want her to have to board and be so far away. So they have a house in Atlanta also.
Wow.
So
Wow, cool.
Wow.
Okay, I'm done.
Rabbi Dave, what's going
I'd
on?
rather hear from Leanne first. This is a blast from the past here.
Yeah.
It was a blast from the past.
Phyllis. I've seen Sarah. I think I've talked to Sarah Beth a couple of times over the years.
Yeah.
Me?
Just
Okay.
count.
Oh, geez.
Serena, go ahead, Serena.
Serena. So Serena's my youngest daughter. She's 25. She's a nurse in a hospital
Oh,
Wow.
right now. So she was kind enough to lend me her computer. So she's working in a unit that's not a COVID unit, but there are patients on her floor. So we're living without seeing anybody.
Has she been
because,
vaccinated yet?
She's had one.
Okay.
Canada's done a horrible job of procurement. So, and I work in a endodontic office, and we're supposed to be vaccinated as well. So we figured maybe by September, if we're lucky, the way things are going. My husband also goes to work because he's in essential service. He's in, works for a company that imports, so they sell to a lot of stores. So thank God, our office was closed for 2 months at the beginning, but we're open now. So anyway, that's my middle daughter. We've been married for 35 years. My middle daughter is 29, and she has one son will be 3 this year, and she's expecting, God willing, a baby right before Pesach.
Shatova.
Her name is Dova. She's married to Josh. They were high school sweethearts. It's very cute. And he's a lawyer. And my oldest daughter is 31. She has 2 boys. Her name is Gila, and she married also someone we're very lucky, they all live here. She married somebody from Toronto, who my husband knew his father from camp when they were kids. So Toronto's like that. It's all very connected. People kind of go away to school, they don't, but my kids, thank God, stayed here. Hopefully one day maybe I'll go to Israel. That's the goal. So Steve.
Steve Rubo.
Rubo, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
You're muted.
Are we sure we want him to unmute?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I was waiting for that. I was gonna say, who's gonna make the joke about let's not unmute Ruble? Oh man,
Surabats all over.
That was like.
Just remember who invited you. Just remember.
One second, whose idea was it?
Wasn't my idea. But
My headphones aren't working. Hold on 1 second. I want to see why they're not working.
And he sounds exactly like his father. It's
Shlomo, don't worry.
unbelievable.
Shlomo, he can't flick you in the nose like the old days from here.
I was never.
Lee,
that
and
kind
at the
of
end, we all had to.
Or he can't pitch my tuchus either.
Oh, that's right. That was a thing. I had a thing about that.
I thought that was me.
No, it was everybody's tuchus. My father's a tuchus man. you learn what you learn at home. I mean, you do what you see at home.
Oh my gosh, I remember your father, Dr. Rubel, man. I remember going to see him.
He saw a lot of you. He saw.
Julie, turn on your camera.
I am. I'm slow.
do it again.
We're trying it again.
Who is that?
Okay.
Julie.
It's me.
Nobody looks the way you used to look.
Hey, wait a minute.
Steve,
I
you
haven't
look
aged
exactly
one
the
bit.
same.
I don't recognize anybody.
Steve, you look exactly
I
the
see
same.
Steve, you look exactly the same. So
Oh,
does Steve. So does
Oh.
Phyllis.
Come on, Steve.
Oh
I
my
look just
God.
like
Serena Brenman, Leanne, what is going on there?
I don't have
And
my own.
Liana is.
I don't
Hi,
have my own
Dave.
computer.
Hey, Julie.
Julie Brown, amazing.
This is beyond. Sorry, I'm a little late. I had tech difficulties. Hey, Phyllis.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm great. How everybody looks so
Hi,
good.
Phyllis. Oh,
That's
my
what happens.
gosh.
That's what happens when your eyesight starts to go. Everyone looks great.
No,
Thank
we
you,
always look
Shlomo.
good. We
I
always
guess-
look good from the neck up.
I guess Julie's going next.
And look, we're all
Wait,
wearing
Julie?
glasses except
No,
for
no.
Steven.
Well, Steve,
no
you still
glasses.
got your hair. You look great. Look at you, my God.
Yeah, you do
I
look
do
good.
this to kind of hide my head so you don't know that I'm bald. It's a great technique. You see this? You'll never know. I just walk around.
There's a mirror behind you. I don't know if you realize. We can see.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
Steve, Shlomo says that the 3 of us went to New Orleans.
No, not New Orleans, Gatlinburg.
Gatlinburg. We had a great trip.
Could you
I wanna-
guys please refresh my memory? What happened to
My
parents?
favorite story. Can I tell one of them? You want to tell
Oh,
one?
I know
Steve?
which one.
The one about the
Yes.
Yeah, listen, this is an incredible. We went in my mother and father's 1976 blue Cadillac, and it had all this plush. And I said, "We got it. We're going across Tennessee. It's going to be amazing." We switched off drivers, and we got a few tickets. One time, you got a ticket, Shlomo, and you talked the guy out because you were a rabbi. I thought we were going to get killed, but we got out of it. We just kept getting out of all these things that just kept happening. We were laughing and laughing, and it was late at night. It was on our way home, and we got off the expressway and we went to this little convenience store, like right off the thing. And we're laughing and we're going and I want some chips. We want this. Then we get up to the cash register and the guy pulls out a gun from behind the cash register. And he's behind it. He goes, "Shut the fuck up. You guys, what the fuck do you want?" And we're like going, we just wanted some water. And then he goes, "Yeah, just get the fuck out of here." You're listening. We're going, "Oh, okay." And we walk out, we get in our car, we start laughing our ass off after we start to leave. And at first we were just like, we were freaking out. And we just keep going. And about 30 minutes later, as we're laughing about this and talking about how great our trip is, we realize we're not on the expressway anymore. We're like 30 minutes down some small road because we were so freaked out. We forgot to get back on the expressway. We just kept going in the same direction. We were going in this direction. We got off and then we just kept going, but we got on a side road and we went way out of our way.
So Sarah Beth, you don't remember any of that?
Oh, memory of it. Maybe
On the hook.
How did my parents allow me to go with you guys? I don't understand.
No. How did I? What was I thinking? I was in Beis Medrash. What was I thinking to go with Steve Rubel in his mother's Cadillac with you, with Sarah Beth?
Okay, I went with Topper in somebody's station wagon with all the food. So we were all the food in the back, and it was just Topper and I in the front, and I'm sleeping, and he's driving, and all of a sudden I hear him.
1 second,
scream.
Steve. I was with you.
You were with Steve and Sarah Beth. What's?
Oh no, that was 1 year.
Oh,
we
so
went
I'm
so
sleeping,
many years. It was like,
and all of a sudden he slams on the brakes and he screams that Ruvain Topper high-pitched scream. I look up, and in the middle of the interstate, there's a cow just standing right in front of the car. And all the Manischewitz crackers and everything come flying to the front, and that was basically my only memory from driving to Gatlinburg.
What year was this? What year was
That
this?
was in the
That was
70s.
our senior year. We weren't allowed. The Beis Medrash guys were only allowed to go as seniors. So that was 79 when the pictures that I
Oh
have.
my gosh.
Oh,
Not
we went
that long ago.
We went every year.
Is that David Finkelstein?
What's up, Steve Rubel?
Oh my God.
You probably remember me. You probably remember me when I taught your cousins, the Baums, how to play basketball when they were my neighbors. When Scott and Lee, and we taught Scott, Lee, Judy, and Jeff, they lived on Denwood, and that's where they got their start. I always
You did a good job with Lee. I'll tell you that much.
I always tell Lee that.
Holy mackerel, he was awesome.
He was.
He still is awesome.
The lefty foul shooter, 99
Didn't
out
one
of
of the
100.
bombs get accepted to the
nicest-
University of Tennessee?
Yeah, Scott went to Tennessee. Scott played for Tennessee, the football
Did he
team.
play for Tennessee?
Wow.
Yeah, Scott was the I think the punter or the placeholder for the Ravens, who I'm friendly with. Morgan Cox was he was friendly with Morris Thomas, and Scott Baum, that whole group over there that also played for Tennessee. So
Lee was one of my heroes.
I don't think Scott Baum. I think Lee Baum played a little basketball for them, or at least tried to.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Well, Steve, Tennessee wasn't as good as Christian Brothers. If you could play for Christian Brothers, then you were pretty good.
I remember
played
playing
for
against
Christian
them at the
Brothers tennis team,
JCC.
right?
Yeah.
They take their basketball very seriously in the Baum family.
Yes, they
Very
do.
serious, very serious, very serious.
Where's Judy these days?
Judy's
I
in
just saw
Israel.
Judy on a video. She's in Israel. I just saw a video of her
Ramat
last
Beit
night.
Shemesh Aleph.
Wow. Wow.
She's been there for a long time, Shlomo. They lived there, then they moved back to Toronto, and then they moved back a number of years ago to Israel. I think maybe when her twins were babies, and those twins are at least 14 now. I might be a year.
Oh, they're all they're near the end of high school.
That's
Listen,
crazy.
We hijacked this Zoom. Leanne was in the middle or at the end. Leanne, did you finish?
I believe so.
Why don't we go to Phyllis?
Unless anybody has questions, which I'm sure they
Leanne
don't.
has 3 beautiful girls who are.
Where in Toronto do you live? Where in Toronto do you live?
In Thornhill.
Where?
Rabbi, in Thornhill.
Where?
Korupkin.
Oh, on Clark, right near the Bayit.
Which shul do you go to there?
That's
The
Rabbi
Bayit.
Korupkin.
Rabbi Korupkin shul. Yeah, Julie knows. Julie's a Torontonian too.
Yep.
Is that
Julie,
Dan-
And actually, I've seen gorgeous pictures of all of Leanne's grandkids.
And yours.
Aunt
Oh,
Rochelle,
Leanne, you got to share them on the
they're
chat.
gorgeous.
Well, I don't know if you can see this, but
Leanne, is that Danny Korupkin?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. yes.
Chavetz Chaim, Danny Korupkin.
I'm probably
Yeah.
from Neri Strahl. He has a great voice, great Balkara also.
He's a
Yeah,
big
so my
Talmud Chacham also.
What's that?
yeah,
He's
he does.
big
He's got a
Talmud
great
Chacham. He's
voice.
written
Oh,
Svarim.
yeah, big Talmud Chacham.
He's written Svarim.
Oh, he's an LA guy.
Yes, he is.
I
Yeah.
just realized because I knew his sister Jennifer Korupkin Nyman.
Yes.
So-
yes. My kids
He's been here
went
before.
to the school that he was the principal of.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, Shlomo, can I interject something just before I forget?
I'm giving you one.
Okay, literally
We
one
give
second.
in our
Leanne, and then
eighth
it
grade
was-
in our eighth grade chat, we give Julie time periods and time slots so that we can all get a word in. So
Julie-
I
Julie,
miss Julie.
Steve,
Julie, when you
Julie,
talk,
go ahead.
I hear your mother with that accent. Remember when she would speak Yiddish with that thick Southern accent? And
Most
oh,
of
I
children,
don't-
most of
her.
children, most of everybody
and
come from
he had
most
the
of.
nicest neshama I ever saw.
Oh
I
my gosh.
loved her.
So
And then
can I
when I
interject
saw
my
Debbie-
point if I have 2 minutes or 1 minute? So Shlomo, I know that you've been in touch, I think a little bit or off and on with Marshall Lebovitz. Am I
married him.
correct?
I married him.
Yeah, I know because I spoke to him
Anything goes in
after,
LA, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
after his mom passed away.
Oh wow.
And we had a long schmooze. And then he mentioned you, he had bumped into you. And then I think he did tell me that you married him and Judy. Then I spoke to him again after Mr. Lebovitz passed away. And I'm like, when I saw you were going to be on this chat today, I'm like, that's it. I just got to mention that. He sounds really good. Do you live far from him, Shlomo?
Yeah, he lives in the South Bay. We don't live that close, but over the years he's come to a lot of my classes.
That's what he said.
Yeah, and I'm very close with the two of them. Does everyone here know Marshall Lebovitz? You remember him at all?
Yeah, I called Steven when both of the parents died, and we hadn't connected in a long time. He actually didn't come to our eighth grade reunion that we had about 5 years ago because he felt like he really wasn't part of things. He felt like people didn't
Oh.
like him and stuff like that. So I kind of had a really nice talk with him and got back into his focus. It was really good.
I
And
don't
then-
know any of his siblings. I only
and
know
then
Marshall.
and then I told my sister, who was Marshall's classmate, and Sarah called Marshall and they spoke for an hour.
Oh,
And,
beautiful.
yeah.
Barbara was in my grade.
Right.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even think of telling Marshall about this. Darn it.
Oh, that actually would have been a good idea.
Yep. Okay. We'll do it
Sorry to
again.
interrupt. Leanne, were you showing pictures of your grandkids?
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
No,
Somebody
Leanne,
else.
put them on the chat. Just on
Yes,
Come
for
on.
your
Okay.
nachas.
It
I know,
blows my mind. It blows my mind looking at you that you're a grandmother. It blows my mind.
And they call me. We figured when the first one was born, Arlie, who there's a sign because we had a Zoom birthday party. His sign's behind me. When we had his, when he was born, we figured whatever he ends up calling me, that's what they can call me. Well, like, because my mother is Safta, my mother-in-law is Bubby. Anyway, they call me grandma, which is great because that was my grandmother.
Okay.
That's
Which-
awesome.
Yeah.
The same
Okay.
with me.
How about
Yeah.
Phyllis? Phyllis, jump in.
I'm jumping. Where do I start? That I graduated and never came home. I came for the year and never came home.
Do you
Yep.
remember, Phyllis, you remember the conversation with me in Israel when you called me to tell me you were joining the army?
I was staying and I
That
went into
wasn't-
the army and yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, that didn't go
You
well.
sure did. And I used to sleep on your floor every single Thursday night at Machon Gold for that entire year.
Wow.
And then
That's what you did. Between you and Judy Yormark, the floor stayed warm.
it did. And
Phyllis,
yeah.
Phyllis, you know that your sister and brother-in-law, Kivi and Chavi, are close friends of me and Debbie, and they're twins, grew up in my organization. They worked for us, and
Yeah.
you're very, very close with them. We
No,
talked.
Bobby's in the hospital.
What's that?
Bobby was in the hospital.
I didn't know that. What's going
Yeah.
on?
I just spoke to her on Friday, Phyllis, and she told me that she hoped to be going to rehab at Levendale
Hopefully
on Tuesday.
I hope so.
What's going
The
on?
last time they put her in rehab, she ended up back in the ER with an infection in her leg. And then
we have somebody else coming on.
Someone who are we speaking about now? I'm sorry.
My younger sister, Javi.
Oh, Javi.
Oh, Mark Katz. Holy
my
cow.
Oh, hey, don't say bad things about Tampa Bay. He's
I
gonna.
know. I was just thinking that, David.
He's in Tampa.
He lives there?
He's in
Yes.
Tampa. Oh yeah, there he is. Tampa
Mark.
Bay.
Mark.
Go Bucks.
Oh,
Go Bucks.
Marky.
Shalom Aleichem.
Oh my God, he hasn't changed.
Not at all.
Not
did.
at
He
all.
look great.
He changed his last name. It's not Mark Katz Brady. He's one of the Brady bunch
hi,
down there.
Mark.
How's it going, Julie?
Thank God. You look great.
Thank
We
you.
were talking about you last night.
I
Because
know.
Ernie was
Mark,
talking
we
about
talked to
the.
Julie. We
What?
talked to Julie about her limit. But can you remind her, because you're the class enforcer?
David, I'm coming over to get you.
Yeah, you've already reached your limit, I think.
Mark,
And you
I
just
get
joined.
1 minute. 1 minute. So we were in the kitchen last night,
Time's up.
and it was just me, Hannah, and Ernie. Okay.
Okay.
And we're talking about the big event today. And I looked and I said, Hannah, I said, do you remember my friend Mark? And when they were here, remember you came in with your daughter for David's daughter's wedding? That's a number of years ago
I
already.
remember that. Yeah.
So I'm like, you remember when he came in? I'm like, yeah. I go, well, the team that's playing tomorrow, she goes, that's where he lives. I'm like, mm-hmm.
That's 1 minute.
Okay. And now I'm to the next person. Phyllis, get back to where
Phyllis.
you were.
Phyllis,
Where was I?
in the army.
Who knows anymore?
Harvey,
how's it
come-
going?
You're in
Harvey.
the army.
ADD will do this.
How's it going, buddy?
ADD will do this, Phyllis. Sorry, but Julie. Go ahead. Yeah,
It's okay. I love you, David.
I know you do.
None of that.
So I was in the army for the 2 years. I finished. I met my husband. I stayed here. We got married, and we're married for 32 years. I have two
Is he an
children.
Israeli or an American or?
Israeli. He's Israeli. He was Israeli.
Listen. I can speak Hebrew. Ani rotza.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Phyllis couldn't have married an American. She wouldn't have been able to talk to him.
Steve, you won't believe, ever since I started working, that everything, I end up talking to myself now in English. I'm talking to the dog in English, and he doesn't know English.
You
Teach
talk to
him
yourself a lot?
English.
My dog doesn't know English, but now that I started working, I went back to work a year ago for a customs broker forwarding company, and everything's in English. So now I have a trainee that I've been working with for the past 2 weeks, and she's from South America, Uruguay, Brazil, someplace. And she's only been in Israel for 6 years. So she knows Hebrew, but it's easier to speak English. So we're constantly speaking English. So now I know English.
You knew English before you knew Hebrew, Phyllis.
But she
I know, but
forgot
then
English.
I forgot English.
She did.
How
Well,
did you
I was
end
gonna
up?
say,
how
if
did
you're
you end
living
up
in
on
Israel-
Kiryat Ata? How do you end up in Kiryat Ata?
We were living in Kiryat Eliezer in Haifa.
I love the way you said that. Can you say that again?
I'm gonna put my husband on. He
Why,
speaks
it's a new,
Hebrew
you like the New Orleans accent, right?
I love it.
Yeah.
You know, that reminds me when I came in for the girls' bat mitzvah. They were in Memphis, and there were a lot of bat ami girls there in Memphis at the time. Now, Sima, bless her soul, she used to drag me to these girls, and then she'd go, "Okay, now talk." I don't know you, but no, I need to hear you speak Hebrew.
Your accent.
She would just drag me over there and say, talk. I said, okay, I have no problem talking, but anyway. So I used to live over there, and my husband was injured in the army. So we got to the point where he had developed MS, and he was wheelchair bound, and the apartment that we were living in was just like the walls were closing in. So I was looking for some place that I could build a house where if he wanted to go outside, he could sit in the yard, and I don't have to stay downstairs and with him, because I couldn't leave him downstairs by himself, and to push him off on the neighbors wasn't too nice either sometimes. So we ended up here. I got land, and it's cheaper to build here than it is in Haifa. There's not a lot of land in Haifa. I
You
mean, they're
built a
building.
house from scratch? You built a house from scratch?
Wow.
Wow.
I
It looks
did.
beautiful from my vantage
And
point.
it was fun. I had the best time. I was, it was a good contractor and it's a family business and I do scrapbooking. So, and he knew that. So every time something happened, he'd call me and say, bring your camera and come. So everything that happened, I have pictures of, and then I started scrapbooking the whole thing and the whole building process and it was nice.
Most of the contractors in Los Angeles are Israelis. It's
Actually, I've
amazing.
seen a couple of Israelis on the HGTV.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there are a couple of them. It was funny. I guess they couldn't get a job there, so they ended up here, so they ended up there. But that's it. We have 2 kids. Both of them are married. My son is 53, and he just started school in October. He decided that he was going to college. After the Army and after working, and he decided, okay, it's time for me to do something with my life.
To be with Mazel.
Hey,
Hey,
thanks, Vicky.
It's sweet.
Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Sorry I'm late.
He's studying.
Hello, everyone. Mazel tov to everyone I owe a mazel tov to.
You're covered. Oh, you mean for the last 41 years, you mean?
You remember the math. You remember the math.
Svi,
Elmo's daughter
I
lives
got
on-
regards from your mom because
She
you're
sends best regards to you, Tzvi.
Julie, what was that? They probably
Julie,
lived
I'll
down-
explain.
Her time's up already.
Oh, lived
No,
down the
my
block.
time is not up. Mark, I
Yeah,
have
I just timed
exactly a minute and a half this time.
Now
Svi,
no,
get your
we're
gavel.
the day
Mark,
that
turn
you
your
got
phone sideways.
married, I got
No.
regards
Okay.
from Mrs. Lupin.
No, that
Mark,
one.
Mark,
she
I gave you a
sent
job, Mark.
me-
Mark, you have a job, Mark. It's not
Time's
working.
not up yet. I'm going to finish, David, or I'm coming over to give it to you.
Oh, my
I
bird
got
box.
regards from your mother,
Yes, my,
Mrs. Lupin. She said, oh, the Khans live 2 doors away from me and Michael. It made me feel like $1 million, Svi.
I will let her know. She talks about you highly and warmly and fondly all the time. She loves you.
Please send love back. Okay, time's up. Beep, beep, beep.
Hey.
Okay, who's next?
Mark.
What?
Mark, turn your
Mark,
phone.
what are you doing?
There.
Thank you.
Okay.
What do you want to know? What's the question?
Just a short bio. What's
Short
happened in
bio?
the last
My
41
name is
years?
Mark, and I'm from Tampa.
Okay, next.
I live in Tampa, and I'm married to Susan, and I have 2 daughters. One's 25, almost. One's 21. In May, they'll both be working, and I'll be free of them. Thank God. And we're retired for the past 4 years, so we just do nothing all day. That's why I can't put this in landscape properly. And other than that, that's pretty much it. And I'm in Tampa. I already
What
said
did
that.
you do professionally when you were employed, gainfully employed?
I was a gigolo. You guys know what that is? Julie, do you know what that is?
Yes, and I predicted that years
Why
ago.
did you retire in your
Not pull the
prime? In
wool
your
over
prime?
my eyes. I know
Mark,
better.
you were, you still are. I forgot.
No,
Yeah.
I still am. You're
He
right.
just does it on the side.
No, I was a podiatrist.
Same
Similar.
thing, Same thing.
Similar thing, but
He
and
was
that's
a
pretty much
stand-up
it.
podiatrist.
Yeah. You want to see my feet? Here.
No.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Okay, okay.
I remember those feet.
Yeah, I know you do. Don't talk about it though. So that's pretty much
Any other
it.
fetishes we can talk about?
Not that we can talk about.
You
that.
don't want to talk about
But I
it.
mean, if you message me, we can go through some of those. Philip
Steve
might know
Willett.
about a few of them.
All right. Are you ready for me? Ready? Mark, you have anything else?
No, I'm actually gonna have to get off in a bit. And I can get back on.
Are you going to the game?
No, I'm not going to the game.
What do you mean? You're a podiatrist.
How many fans
You're a
are
healthcare
they
worker.
allowing into the stadium?
You're a healthcare worker. You're a
Well, there's too
podiatrist.
many questions at once here.
Tired.
How many fans are they allowing in the stadium?
14,500, and
That's
they're allowing, I think about 7,000 or so. They flew down, workers from the front lines and
Yeah,
hospitals.
people. Yeah, 7,500 people got free tickets.
That just
Wow.
gives me anxiety just listening to that.
I know.
I
Well,
did.
I'm
they're
not going to the
all-
game.
The
Shlomo, I-
7,500. The 7,500 are vaccinated, which doesn't mean anything. But,
Doesn't mean anything.
I can't even sit at the Shabbos table with my kids.
Me either.
well, you're the boss. You tell them what you're going to do. That's all.
We're in lockdown. We've been in lockdown since the end of December.
So are we.
We're not.
We are.
Like in Florida, you can go anywhere and there's people everywhere. And
But are they
our-
masked? Are they masked?
Yeah, you have to wear a mask. If you walk into a
And
place, you have to wear a mask. But generally, if you go into a restaurant, you have to wear it to your table, and then that's it. And there are people everywhere.
I've got a question for you when I get a minute.
Okay, the clock's starting.
Go.
Okay, here's the question. So, Handel is relocating to Memphis,
Yes.
but
Okay.
she's going back and forth now between Memphis and Canada. So she told me the latest thing.
Can she live at your father's house for a while until she gets settled, Mark? That's what she wants to ask you.
No,
I think she's asking me something.
absolutely not. So
Looking
anyway,
for your gigolo. She's looking for your gigolo services.
She can move into the
It's in
dorm.
the back of my father's house, and it's temp.
is it true? Just a
Yeah.
second. That's my husband.
What's
Oh,
your
goodness.
husband?
Hi, I am on Zoom. Is it
Are we going to hear
important?
your whole conversation now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Turn on mute,
Dave,
Julie.
David,
You can come in
David,
and
wanna
say
take
hi.
it?
Yeah, I'll take over. Okay.
Why
Okay,
Julie
I'm gonna
doesn't
say hi
have
to
her own
everybody.
reality
We
show
aim
is
to
beyond
find a lot
me.
of really good
Exactly.
people.
Yeah, really.
Okay,
Really.
come
This
over.
is
okay?
her
It's like,
reality
Julie.
show.
We've seen this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Julie. Mute her.
It's just Julie.
Julie. Mute her.
You know,
This feels like the
You-
beginning of the Brady Bunch when it opened like with squares.
Yes. Yeah. Somebody just mute Julie,
are
please.
you home? Yes or no?
Steve, you should be able to mute her, please, while she's talking to Ernie.
I haven't talked to her
Ernie,
in
are you
40
home?
years. I don't
One
want to
second, I have to
Are
call
you
my
home or
second
not?
cousin about his birthday in a minute. Julie, get off the phone.
Okay, she
Hi,
muted
Julie.
herself. David, go.
All right, so to talk about a few, sorry, Julie, you lost your turn. So just to mention a few things. First of all, I'm the only one, I think, on this chat that gave a bracha to one of the players in the Super Bowl today. I'm
I'm
friendly
getting off
from the
her. I'll be
Kansas
back.
City players who played for the Ravens 6 years ago. And so I gave him a whole bracha. I did the Rosh Chodesh benching prayer and just put it in English. And he was very appreciative. So that's my other big claim to fame is that the bombs that Steve Ruhl was talking about years ago, Debbie and I, my wife and I went to Israel because two of our kids were in school there. So instead of bringing them over Pesach, we went up north, and sure enough, we hear a voice in the background. Yes, this is Philip Baum, and all of a sudden Philip was there, and your aunt and Judy with her family. So we actually made second Seder for your aunt and uncle because Judy doesn't do second Seder. So for about 3 years, my kids were all walking around saying, "Hello, I'm Philip Baum," and they just loved his royal voice. Yeah, just terrific. Anyway, I was in the Memphis Yeshiva for 1 year, even though I'm probably one of the few Memphians on this chat. Well, no, there's a few of us, a lot of New Orleans people.
Sarah Beth.
I was only there.
Rugal.
I was only there for. I had to be very becoveted to Sarah Beth. She's almost 60 and she's getting a little older. March 6th, I think it is, or 7th. So she's getting a
Very
little older.
impressive.
We gotta go slow on her. But
Okay.
I was only Memphis Yeshiva for 1 year, 9th grade.
And we're still scarred.
My two memories is that Brad Frieden and I, with our great basketball talents, beat Charlie and Nick in a game of taps that they still are having a hard time admitting to today.
Nick Weeder. Nick
uh,
Weeder.
Nick Weeder and Charlie, that's right. And I also remember I learned with a guy who was promised a beautiful car by his parents who lived in Florida if he made it for 1 year in the Memphis Yeshiva. And 3 days before the end of the year, he got into a huge fist fight with Rabbi Hillel Belsky. And
Who didn't?
and Rabbi Meir Belsky kind of like like said, we'll pass you, we'll give you your credits. Just you just go. So I can't remember his name, and I never heard if he got the card.
Robert Bergman.
What was it?
No, not Bergman.
I think it was David something. I don't know.
David, 1 second. David Zabel?
Oh.
Could it be Zabel? I think it might have been Zabel.
I'm going to need to see some names before I decide. Either way.
Okay.
And speaking of Alan Auerbach, so Alan and I, we used to go to the same shul, and he came to me once and said, "Hey, I don't know if you remember this guy from Memphis Yeshiva, but he was in 9th grade when you were there, Steve Geller." So I said, "Oh, of course I remember Steve. I love Steve. He'll probably have no idea who I am." So Steve can tell the story later, but we actually have become, very good friends over the years and very special. I went to Ner Yisrael. I was planning on moving back to Memphis to go into real estate with my uncle Bernie Messenger in the business. He didn't have any sons who were in the business. And I took a job at a cure organization when I was 19. There's only about 25 kids there at a 3-week summer program. My brother hired me because my mother forced him to hire me because I was a crazy kid and he didn't want to hire me. And she kind of forced him. And it was a small town in Maryland where Steve Rubel actually became more involved in his Yiddishkeit with one of the son-in-laws of the rabbis, Rabbi Shia Sackett, whose brother-in-law is my brother Sam. And
wait. What's your connection to Shia Sackett?
So Shia's brother-in-law is my brother Sam, and his father-in-law, mother-in-law, Rabbi Mrs. Cosman. That's where I went to work. So I fell in love with working with kids. When we talked to them about sukkahs, they didn't say, "Oh, we don't believe in it." They would just say, "Oh, could you come to our house and help us build one?" And so I called my parents and said, "I think I was in Hopkins also at the time. I said, I don't think I'm going into business. I think I'm becoming a rabbi." So my father said, "Who is this? What did you say?" And I said, "Yeah, I think I'm becoming a rabbi." He said, "Finish your master's degree, get a master's, and then if you want to still become a rabbi, you'll call us."
What kind of job is that for a nice Jewish boy?
For a nice Jewish boy, yeah. They check the mezuzahs, where did they go wrong, that there's someone wanting to become a rabbi. And I stand here 40 years later. I became the director when I was 24 and built it into a beautiful Baruch Hashem with a lot of beautiful people there. I've had over 4,000 campers it's a year-round organization, but 4,000 campers. I have over 850 staff in my career. I have 100 people working for me now. And it's really, we're fun Jewish, not like when we grew up in Memphis. They told us in 7th grade, Hitler killed our people and Eichmann threw us into ovens. You have to be Jewish. And I was like, I don't know. I'm just not.
Who was your teacher? Who taught you that?
It's just a different approach.
Right. But we're all about just exciting Judaism, fun Judaism, stuff. And that's where we have. So about 21 years ago, we bought a 107-acre farm. I put $8 million into it. And I go into every conservative and reform shul within an hour and a half radius. And I put on my sweatshirt, my baseball hat, and I'm not Rabbi Finkelstein, I'm Rabbi Dave. Find all the commonalities we have as a Jewish people. And when they say to me, "Oh, well, you're from Baltimore?" I said, "No, my family's from Mississippi. My dad was from Mississippi." So, "Oh, really? Okay." And so we just make so many beautiful connections. And Baruch Hashem, I met my wife on Shavuos. She was from San Francisco. We were sitting at the same table, the same meal, and I was singing and I cleaned up the table and did the dishes. So she said, "I can use that." So she decided to move to Baltimore. From her house in San Francisco, you could see the Golden Gate Bridge, the Pacific Ocean. I said, "Come to Baltimore. You can see people stealing your hubcaps. You can see my brother's house." But she came anyway. Baruch Hashem, we have 4 kids. We have 32-year-old twins, boy and girl. They're both our neighbors. They each have 2 children. 8 and 6 my daughter has, and 4 and 1.5 my son has. My son's a personal trainer. My daughter-in-law is a nurse, right in the front line of all this stuff. Wow. My son-in-law is an engineer for Northrop Grumman. He's great. My daughter runs a kind of a school out of her house, and our sons, Chaim and Yoni, 30 and 26, are into real estate and investments, and they still live here. They haven't gone out yet. They're just enjoying life in the fast lane. And somehow we keep saying, leave, leave. And they'd like, no, we love you guys too much. It's just great here. Baruch Hashem, my mother's 93. She's my next door neighbor. And she's great.
Oh, tell your mother I say hello.
Yeah,
I
say
always
hi.
loved your mother.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I spent more time with your mother than I did in class.
She never believed that I was being sent out again. What did I do this time? What did Mark Stewart and I do this time? She couldn't believe it. So she always stuck by me. My brother is also my next door neighbor. My sister Sarah, who has my kidney, lives across the street from me. And I was on a radio show years ago about transplants and Judaism and all. And at the end they said, oh, so does your sister live in Baltimore? I said, actually, she lives on my block. I felt it was very important that all my body parts be on one block. And so I hold that over her, nonstop, and she takes good care of me. And Baruch Hashem, we have a good life here. And last night, I'm a little tired. I had a thing on a Zoom webinar for 400 families. It was a Shorish Got Talent night, and we got great acts from all of our different people, but we also interdispersed it with people like the Soup Nazi from Seinfeld, and Colin Mockery from Whose Line Is It Anyway, and Ray Lewis from the Ravens, and Mordechai Ben David and Joey Newcomb. And it was just it was happening fast. Cody Lee, the one agent.
When you've got Ray Lewis and Mordechai Ben David on the same, you're hitting it right. You're doing something right.
Steve, that was on my PR. It was like, what do these people have in common? Ray Lewis, Mordechai Ben David, is they're all going to be performing at the Shorish fundraiser. And
tell you.
And Steve, I've had to, in my career, I've become like the unofficial Ravens rabbi. So I'm very close to a lot of the players. They come to my house for dinner or whatever it is. And this is what I have to do in order to raise money.
Somebody has to do it, Dave.
So if I have to do it, but
tell Mark Ingram I said hello. He should come back.
Yeah, well, I know he did great for your Saints.
Yeah.
And Steve, I became friendly last year with Dexter Reed. So Dexter Reed and I are Facebook buddies. Do you remember Dexter Reed?
Wait, is that from Memphis?
He played for Memphis State, and I
met
him on Shabbos. I met him on Shabbos at Patty Moss's house. We used to live behind the yards of Patty Moss's.
Yeah, he was a basketball player.
Yeah, I think they're part of the fun. I think they're paying Dexter to play for Memphis State or something.
He was left-handed?
Yeah, left-handed. Yeah, left-handed. Yeah, he was.
Oh, God, yeah.
Finch's time, Dave.
Yeah.
He was black. He was black.
Still is.
Tree Washington.
He was black. I think there was only one.
And my biggest accomplishment was about 5 years ago. I ran a reunion for our 8th grade class, and we all came to Memphis. And
Dexter Reed was in our 8th grade class.
And Mrs. Cassida, all of them were all the same 8th grade. And about 29 of us came for that. Brad came from Israel, and Judy from Toronto, and people, Mark and from Florida, and Sarah Beth and we all came in, and we really had the best time ever. And we still are on a WhatsApp group that we probably blow up. Sarah Beth, how many times a day?
Multiple times.
Multiple times. We have Joel Baines on there. We have old school Memphis on there. And the real reason that I really wanted to do this reunion is because a lot of guys like Joel Baines and Bill Farguson and that whole group.
Bear.
Right, when they came to the Memphis Hebrew Academy, when they were in middle school, they had to take on a dual curriculum. They had to put on tefillah. They had to do so many things, and we didn't appreciate them at the time like we should have. We didn't know enough. We weren't.
Can I tell you? Can I tell you something?
Sure.
Rabbi Dave.
Sure.
Speaking to that very point, I was in Memphis for something, and it ends up that one of my classmates was making a bat mitzvah for his daughters. Pace Cooper was making a bat mitzvah, so we went, and I was sitting at a table with, do you remember Jill Lazaro?
Yeah.
So I think she had a brother that was your age. She has a brother that's your age. Anyway, Jill sat at the table. We were talking about that very thing. And I said, I
Stuart.
remember Stuart, right.
Married
remember
to
go-
Debbie Harkavy, my cousin.
Exactly. So I remember going into, with our skirts on, going to watch the boys play basketball and seeing all the girls that didn't go to the yeshiva or didn't go to the Hebrew Academy in their jeans, which was, perfectly fine. We all did that. But I always felt like they didn't understand us. And she said exactly the opposite. She says, we didn't know how to show it, but we were so respectful of everything that you did. So they were watching.
Wow.
That's special. I mean, listen, Joel and Bill, people, they loved Rabbi Hershkowitz. They to this day, they said he is the one who bridged it for them. And, and to this day, Judy Mernick learns with Mary Ellen Weissman. And we still have all these amazing relationships. And, when people pass away, from our, in the parents in the class, like Sarah Beth's mother recently, special lady Natalie Frager. So we were all there for Sarah Beth, and we were able to send a tray to the family. And we've done this several times, and it really, there's nothing better than being able to do something like that for the people that mean the most to you. So that's something that I really love being involved in.
Yeah, Sam, I can't believe it was only 5 years ago. David, are you sure about that?
It was 5 years.
We had a reunion back in July on Zoom. We had this,
of course.
But in Memphis, it was 5 years ago.
Wow.
It was May, Sarah Beth. It was the beginning of May because my niece got married and I missed it.
But Shlomo, I knew you were going to end up being great because you were a ball of fire. I just remember you in the yeshiva. You had this koach about you.
Yes, you did.
It was like you were Superman koach, and I knew whatever you were going to decide to do, you were going to be great at it.
And
so,
David, I always valued you as an extraordinary judge of character.
I always have been. Steve Rubel, I was worried about you always because you were just too cool.
You definitely should have worried about me.
That's a perfect segue.
You should have worried more. It would have helped. It would have helped.
I looked up to Steve Rubel. Steve Rubel was always the happening guy, but always friendly with the younger guys like me and people like that.
Let's hand off.
The only people I could beat up on were the littler guys. So that was I needed something.
Thank God
to build myself up.
I'm 6'2"
Gary
now.
warned us.
I'm 6'2" now, so I might have some trouble.
You said you were standing up before you stand here. If you're standing up, I don't think you really made it.
I'm more tall than Steve right now.
Okay, so in 9th grade, the year that Dave was in Memphis, I did not make the basketball team, and Dave made the team. And in 9th grade, the yeshiva jerseys, they had some that had the yeshiva across the front and some that had yeshiva down the side. And I used to go to the games, and Dave would, impeccably dressed, would tuck his jersey into his pants, and all you could see instead of yeshiva was YES. His jersey said YES, the rest was tucked into his pants. And I was twice his height, I couldn't even hold the basketball in 9th grade, and was rooting for him.
He was a yes man.
He was
Baruch Hashem, Steve and I have become better friends each year over the years.
No, you listen. I'm going to tell you guys a quick story because I don't think most of you remember this or any of you knew about this.
You don't have to.
I was on my way to a Catholic high school, and it's a long story. The Louisiana public school system was the worst in the country. We couldn't afford Newman, where I would have met some of the Mannings. And I didn't want to go to the military school because I had hair down to my shoulders and they were shaved. So I was on my way to St. Paul's, a Catholic boarding school in Covington, Louisiana. And Thursday, before 9th grade started, my mother's online at a supermarket, happened to talk to the woman behind her and said, we're Jewish, my son, I got to send him to a Catholic school because there's no places to go. She says, well, I work for a guy who just donated money to a Jewish boys high school in Memphis. So Jewish boys high school in Memphis. So my mother asked for the guys that she worked for, the number. His name is Harry Katz. My mother calls Harry Katz that afternoon. He says, well, this is Rabbi Belsky's number. Calls Rabbi Belsky Thursday afternoon. He says, it's Thursday, school starts Sunday. You can't come up for a visit. It's too late, but there's a boy in New Orleans coming back for his 2nd year. Go talk to him. So I show up at Shlomo's house, my hair down to here, with one of those rain yarmulkes, the nylon ones. and he talks to me for 2 hours. Now, public school gets out at 2:15. I'm home at 2:30. Shlomo doesn't tell me school till 6 and then back at 8:30 till 10 for night Seder. He doesn't tell me about school on Sunday. He doesn't tell me about Shabbos, basically on lockdown. He tells me we have an unbelievable basketball team, the beautiful gym, we have a flag football team, and that, okay, basketball, football, it's fine, I'm there. And I show up Sunday, not knowing Aleph Beis, and it's all because of Shlomo. And
I spoke your language.
it-
You have to know before Dalif Miata Omed. You have to know your audience.
it was unbelievable. I met Howard, I met Goldsmith, Lyndon.
Little Lyndon Goldsmith. Do you guys remember Lyndon Goldsmith?
Yes. And now I'm going to say something and no one's going to interrupt me, Dave. Lyndon, you got to hear this. This is an amazing story. So I hadn't seen Lyndon and Lois in many, many, many years. And my son David got married about 7.5 years ago. Go to the wedding, great. Then we go to Shabbos Shaver Brachas. And davening on Shabbos.
Shaver Brachas? Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Okay.
And my new machatenister, whose name is Juliet, says, Julie, come over. I want to introduce you to somebody. So she introduces me to this woman. And I think I was so exhausted from all the good goings on of the Simcha that I didn't hear the name that she said. And this woman that she introduced me to had these big glasses, big square glasses, and a gray shaitel, but I didn't hear the name. And all of a sudden, some wire is trying to connect in my head, but it wasn't connecting. Fine. Shul's over. We go to sit down to have the shaver brachas and the luncheon. My dad is at the next table from me. He turns around, he goes, you know, Julie, there's someone here that knows us from Memphis, but I don't know who it is. And I turn around and I look up, and holy cow, who was standing in the room? Lyndon Goldsmith. I'm like, Dad, that's Lyndon Goldsmith. And then I'm like, Dad, that was Lois Goldsmith that I met in Shul. My machutin are from Edison Highland Park, New Jersey. They are dear, dear friends of Lyndon and Lois. So we reconnected. Lyndon and Lois had missed my David's wedding because Jennifer married off a child the same day. So they weren't at the wedding, but they came to the shaver brachas, and we basically just picked up right where we left off. They're doing great. They're doing absolutely great.
I have not seen him in 40, but more than.
Yeah.
Lyndon doesn't look any different except for his stunning, distinguished looking gray hair. And Lois is as warm and funny and hospitable. And in fact, crazy enough, I am actually teaching Lois's great nephew at TA here in Baltimore.
Wow.
You just can't get away from Memphis.
Lyndon was a good ball player. He was a good basketball player.
Still is.
Yeah.
Shlomo, do you have anything to do with Paul Levine out there?
Do you know what? First of all, I didn't even know that Paul Levine. You know, we had this whole small chevra from Los Angeles that came to Memphis. You remember Danny Weissman, Paul Levine, not Nick Weeder. Who else?
Benji Kest.
Benji Kest. So I learned with Benji Kest's brother, Ezra Kest, on the phone. I haven't seen Benji in forever. So to answer your question, no, I didn't even know that Paul Levine was here. But I'll tell you who I did bump into out of the blue, and we had a short, brief friendship fling, was Nick Weeder.
Oh, really?
Nick Weeder came out here. He's an osteopath. And out of the blue, we reconnected. I don't even remember, but and then I was in touch with Naftali Hershkowitz for a while. But so Paul Levine, you have a relationship with him?
I Facebooked him a couple of years ago. We talked a little bit.
So he lives in LA?
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you know Shlomo Gottesman? Shlomo Gottesman?
I know. We don't have a relationship, but of course I know who he is. Sure.
He's a close friend. We were America's Attorney together. Very, very wonderful person. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to go soon. I just want to tell you, also Steve was a Ben Bias at our house. We always loved having Steve for Shabbos in 9th grade, and just really the nicest guy. And Steve, you should have a refuah shalema. I feel good thinking of you.
Oh man, oh man. Thank you so
I-
much.
And I just want to piggyback off of that. So the story that Steve told about me talking 2 hours, and I knew exactly what I needed to do in order to sort of like coax him to Memphis. So, I take teachers derive a lot of nachas from the people that they've taught, and then to see the transformation as they evolve. And I have to tell you something. I can't say that it's not that he's a Talmud of mine and at all. He's a peer of mine. He's a friend of mine. But just to know that his life could have taken such a different turn, and he evolved into such an amazing neshama, gives me an enormous amount of nachas.
Oh, I thought you were talking. Okay. Oh, Steve, they're talking about you. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
The beautiful shul at his house.
Oh, did I send you the pictures?
Yeah, we saw it.
It's so cool. It's so cool. Yeah.
And let me just also say that Baruch Hashem, Steve Rubel and I have stayed in touch with each other, not like clockwork, but every once in a while we'll reach out to each other, and
Amazing.
it gives me great.
Yeah,
It's
it's always been so sweet, so sweet.
Steve, where do you live?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I live in Manhattan on the Upper West Side.
All right,
And
you
it
never
is-
spoke,
it-
Steve.
it-
Tell
it-
us.
It is snowing right now. It is snowing.
Tell us about you. Tell us about the kids.
Yeah.
When did you leave Memphis?
Practice.
I left Memphis when I got married very early. I got married when I was 22, and if anybody knew me way back when, you'd say, "No, don't do that, Steve. You're too young."
You're
And
such a ruble and a bomb.
but I was married for 29 years. I left Memphis with Simone. We went up to Chicago to do my training. After I did internal medicine in Memphis, I started a GI fellowship, a gastro fellowship. I was following my father up his butt, but I didn't quite make it all the way because I did, oh, come on, it's the joke.
Line.
And so I didn't make it. I couldn't make it. I was not my thing. I really don't like my own crap, much less somebody else's. So I was like, I don't really like this. But I do like virtual crap. So I went into psychiatry. Perfect. That it's so much cleaner. It's nicer.
Amazing.
So what can you say about the group after meeting with us?
Oh, you guys are great for psychiatry. I mean, I see job security right here in front of me. This is job security.
Julie, I won't say anything about the two of us because that's patient-doctor confidentiality. All right, so I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, but I lived in Chicago and I have 3 children. My oldest, Ariella, is 36. I can't believe I've got a 36-year-old adult. I don't have children, I have adults, and I have she lives in Springfield, New Jersey, which is about 45 minutes away from the city. Have 4 grandkids.
Wow.
Nainahara.
Thank you for using, by the way, thank you for using your fingers. That really helps.
Especially in our ages.
We don't know where those fingers have been, Shlomo.
Well, as a psychiatrist, I find this is all I can do. I'm not allowed to touch anybody, But my son lives in Brooklyn. Sells. My oldest is a teacher at Kushner. She's early childhood, and my son works and lives out in Brooklyn. He sells loans to small businesses. And my youngest daughter just got married during COVID, and she lives a block away from me. Yeah. And she just got her degree to be a therapist. She'll be starting to work for me soon. Yeah, which is kind of cool.
What's your daughter in Springfield's married name?
Bloom. Ariella Bloom.
And she teaches at Kushner?
She teaches at Kushner. They're pre-K and I think kindergarten and pre-K. She's been there for a long time.
Because
she's
my
great.
wife's from Elizabeth and her kids went to Kushner. So I'm gonna check it out. Ariella Bloom.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah.
I get along with my ex Simone beautifully. Distance does help. I will say it's a beautiful thing. But we go for Pesach every year with my family, and I couldn't be happier about how things are going in my life with that. For sure, family has just been so important. And I'll tell you a funny story. With my father. My dad, I'm not from anymore, and my dad is always talking to me about God and Shlomo too. But my father has much better stories. Shlomo's much more serious. My father, I get so much better stories from my father. So it was during COVID, and my father is talking to me about, it was like 6 weeks into COVID. It's like I was double gloving. I'm going to the grocery store at midnight to stay away from everybody who's going to kill me with COVID. And, and so it's like, I've got him in my headphones like I do now. And he's talking to me about this great book about Hashem and this. I said, Dad, you're 87. I love that you have God. And I said, I get to live in the uncertainty of it. I'm not saying it's not, I'm not saying it's this. I'm just loving that my kids, nobody's coming to me asking me my opinion, but yet it's important for you to tell me about God. I said, but I'm okay. I'm really enjoying just living in the uncertainty. I'm about to walk into the West Side Market, and my father pauses for a second and he says, I really miss a good ham and cheese sandwich. I couldn't even believe my father got off his horse for just a second. In the middle of COVID, he's thinking about his life and his dad, and he finally gets off his little thing. He says, I really miss a good ham and cheese sandwich. And I said, Dad, they're still good, and I can hook you up if you ever need one. And we just laughed. I said, I'm so glad you can just come and just be normal with me and tell me what's on your mind instead what you want to be in my mind. And it was just such a sweet moment. And I don't think I could have had that without COVID. COVID is it was.
Will you, Steve, next time you speak to him, will you tell him that people remember him fondly, very, very fondly?
He's I'll definitely tell him about
The
this.
students that used to go to him from the yeshiva.
Yeah.
Take him to New Orleans, and Joel Brown will give him shrimp etouffee and gumbo. Okay.
I will.
Steve, I remember you told me years ago why you started wearing a yarmulke is that when you were living in Virginia at the Sackett's house.
At the Sackett's house.
And one of the girls said to you, if you're Jewish, why are you not wearing a yarmulke?
Yeah.
And you said, you're right. I should probably wear a yarmulke. And you wore a yarmulke all the time after that.
Oh, Shia Sackett was such a sweet time when I came there.
Sweet man, Steve.
Oh, Shia Sackett.
He's a sweet man.
Oh my God. And Boosie, his wife Boosie. Oh my God. Oh my God.
He still is. They're great people.
They're like you, Shlomo. They've got that thing, and like you, David, that just can be with a Jew no matter where they're at in life and just say, hey, who are you? I care about you. Oh my God, I can just cry. I can totally cry. That sense of being able to be connected with at a time when I'm in college and I'm here and I'm there and all this stuff, such a grounding moment. Such a grounding, sweet moment.
Julie, I have to ask Michaela because I wanted to get Mark back on, and you were talking about something, and I just sent him a quick text and I said, Mark, Julie's talking, and maybe you want to come back on to listen.
Steve, I got the timer back out.
I don't want to correct Steve, but she wasn't talking about something. It was about everything. Julie, when we had the reunion, I needed people's contact information. And she said, okay, who do you need? I told her, she didn't even look it up. Oh, Steve Bear, he's in the Hebrew Watchman every week. He does this. His number is 901. Da, da, da. Okay, where's this person? Julie, it was the biggest source
Baruch Hashem.
of information.
Listen, I really apologize. I have to get off. I've got another call.
Me
It
too.
was
This
a
was
pleasure to
absolute-
see you, Shlomo.
It was absolutely amazing. And for those of you I haven't heard from, let's do this again.
I'm going to sign up to
Amen.
best.
Goodbye.
Leanne, great seeing you.
Great
You
to
too.
see
Great
everybody.
seeing you all,
Great to see
Steve.
you.
All of you.
Do well.
Take care.
Do
Cole
well.
too. Cole too.
Happy almost birthday,
Steve,
sir.
Steve Rubel, I'm calling you later. Blinetta.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for jumping back on.
Good seeing you all.
Great seeing
Yeah.
everyone.
Seeing you. Good seeing you. Good
Julie,
seeing
it's
you,
great
Mark.
to see you. St. Vincent's Turo, I haven't seen.
I love
Yeah. Okay.
Forever.
Mark.
So much fun. We have to do it again, and we have to get more people next time because it's
Yes.
really great.
How do we do that, Sarah?
I don't know. Nobody.
Ask Julie for their information.
Julie's gonna make the list.
I don't even try. I don't even try to get people's information. It just falls in my lap.
Right. So we'll put you on it, Julie. We'll
Yeah,
ask you.
I want to find Stuart Rabinowitz.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I can get him.
You can?
You
Well,
can?
through Joel.
Okay,
Can I
and
do it?
Joel.
Or Joel Baines?
No.
Joel Feingold.
Joel Feingold, Bradley. We got to get everybody
I
on here.
sent Brad a message while we were on here, but he saw it, but he didn't answer me.
Well, the
Okay.
problem is, like, I didn't know this was happening until someone. I think Steve, you sent me something
Yeah.
because I don't look at social media much at all.
Oh, I do.
It's not social.
I
Mark.
don't.
And I don't.
So we'll
I don't
have
even-
Julie call you incessantly until you pick up.
No, let's forget that.
Sarah. Wait, I
Listen,
gotta
Mark,
see something to Sarah.
You know that Joel is in touch with Stuart Rabinowitz?
Yeah, typically he is. Yes.
Great.
Good,
That's
good,
great.
good. I haven't seen Stuart in a
I
thousand
haven't
years.
either. Sarah,
Yeah.
the next time I make it to Florida, we gotta get it together, but
I
there was
know.
too much hopping when I
What
was
do you mean?
there.
What about me? I'm in Florida. You're not gonna come see me.
I was in Miami Beach. I didn't
Mark.
make it to Tampa.
Well,
Mark, how far are you from Orlando?
About an hour and 10 minutes, something like
Okay,
that.
I'm
How
coming.
far are you from Sarah?
Sarah,
3
we see each other once a week, so we're about 5 minutes from each other.
That's not true.
No.
Yeah,
Is
it is.
it?
If you don't want to visit me, it's fine. It's okay.
Just come.
I'm,
No, we're
Mark, I'm
about
coming for
4.5
Pesach.
hours.
We're coming for
Yeah.
Pesach to Orlando. I'm renting 2 houses and we're having like 30 family.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
Wait. Is that really happening?
It's really happening.
So how do you do that? Do people have to quarantine before, come, and then quarantine after?
Okay,
Because that's
I
what you have
just
to
had
do
my
here.
second. I just had the second vaccine
I'm waiting to
Thursday.
get it in a week.
And this is the first time I have not been as sick as for the last 3 days. Chills and sweats and the whole thing.
Which one did you get?
Moderna.
That's why. Yeah.
So I just had the second one, and
Pfizer.
so I'm hoping,
Right,
you know,
right
by
on
Pesach
Wednesday.
I'll be with the thing.
Well,
So
did they check your antibodies or no?
I had a check once. I never had COVID. I would have known. I'm immunosuppressed.
They check them to see if you have antibodies after you have the shot.
So I'm
Yeah.
going in March, right? I'm going in March, and I'm going to get the antibody test, right? They're going to make sure
Some people aren't getting antibodies.
from the 2 shots.
Yeah, because that's what's going to happen. Nobody knows what it's all experimental, you know.
That's
So-
right.
Wait, Mark,
That's why I'm
All a
asking.
bunch of lab rats.
That's
They
right.
are. It's a big lab experiment. That's all it is.
Yeah.
know?
So Mark, you're telling me that after my shots, I could have antibodies?
You could not have antibodies, and you can get COVID, and
You can,
nobody knows.
and you can give, you could
give
have it and you could give COVID to
Spread it.
somebody,
Give it.
right?
Look, we've had the flu shot for 100 years, and everybody still gets the flu. So
Exactly.
To give it and to get it.
hopefully it'll mitigate the symptoms, right? I mean, the problem.
Supposedly, it's supposed to make it less intense, but
Yeah.
But there has
still
to be some
nobody
kind
really
of
knows.
herd immunity first.
Ernie,
Right.
can you come quickly to say hi?
Wait, Steve, what did you feel after the second shot?
Oh my God.
Depends on
It was,
here.
first of all, your arm swells up, and I had
We'll
literally,
get
I
to
had
that.
chills,
And Phyllis.
and then sweats,
I'll
and,
show
and
you.
it was just.
Leanne is right
just
here. She looks
ridiculous.
just like Leanne.
Julie,
Does it matter?
who
Does-
you
does
touch-
it-
A lot of people say the second.
Sarah,
Pfizer,
Phyllis,
is that big of a difference?
as in Javi, Javi
Hi.
Greenblatt's older sister.
What
That's
happened?
Hi,
Julie
Leanne.
Geller,
Hi.
Mark
Hi.
Katz,
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Excellent. How's Cyril?
He's good.
You got to give him a hug from us, Leanne.
Send my best.
I will.
It's got the best
Great.
name ever, Cyril. That's
Isn't it?
It's
Ernie says
totally.
he doesn't remember when we made shaver brachas for you in our apartment.
I do
said,
so.
I thought you were serious. He was
Kids, no
teasing.
fighting on the
I
Zoom.
mentioned it. How do I not remember if I mentioned it?
Mark, we fight on Mondays,
Okay, listen,
Wednesdays, and Fridays.
You go have your fight and come back.
Mark, tell us about counseling. Tell us about how we can handle this.
You
He's a
just
We're gonna have a
podiatrist.
Zoom counseling session right after this.
Gonna have something to
Steve
do with
Rubel
a
is a
kick. and-
psychiatrist.
No, I want to do it right now in front of everybody.
Okay. Look each other in the face, stare each other's eyes. and tell each other how you feel. Let's start that way.
I love you.
I love you too.
No, you think it's a joke? Okay, fine. We'll do it later.
If you're not gonna take this seriously.
Shock therapy.
Very helpful. This is amazing. Thank you. I feel better already.
He's Mark, he's a therapist. You
I
know that.
No, I didn't know that. Yeah, I did
He's
know
a
that.
therapist.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
So-
he wasn't.
So I'm the one who needs the therapy, so let's get on with it.
Oh, no, you don't. Oh,
We all do. Do you know that, Julie?
We all do.
we all do.
We
Even
all
at
have
our
our-
ages.
We all have our
Yes.
Julie,
Sarah,
especially at our ages.
What are your plans
Absolutely.
for Pesach? Do you know?
Hey,
Are you
so
in Florida?
We're going to have 3 of the kids in Meretz Hashem with us. Right now we have 4 in Israel, but we're going to have 3 kids with us in Florida with my in-laws. We'll all be here. And
Wow.
yeah,
You
so
guys are really lucky. We are in lockdown and it's going to be the same 3 of us for Pesach that it was last year.
I'm hoping
My
that we
kids
can
are both home.
the
I'm
Chagim
here with
that
my
we did
husband and a daughter and that's it.
Guys,
Don't go
listen.
we
anywhere.
should be in
Hey-
lockdown too, Leanne.
Yeah.
We
Hey-
should be in lockdown too. And things, right now, it's a little unfortunate because we haven't been able to get the vaccination. And our in-laws my in-laws haven't been vaccinated either. Because
Gosh.
we just ran out when we were.
Weird.
Really lucky.
Oh, we'll be vaccinated by September of
I heard
2022
you say
if
that.
we continue to have this prime minister that we have.
That's just,
I heard he is crazy, Leanne.
Guys.
Insane.
Listen, everybody here, the people and it's Sloan, they tell us take vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc.
zinc, right?
Okay.
What I
I
do every
take
day.
those.
Every day, Mark, right? And guys, please, 1,000 vitamin C. I've been taking like 10,000 vitamin D
I take that regularly.
and 30 to 50 milligrams of zinc. You have to do that every day, and that'll, God willing, if you do get it, will mitigate the symptoms. But you got to take care of yourself.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's very difficult going to work every day amongst, triaging people and
We
But it is what
locked
it is.
down. We locked down for a while. That's the reason I started the shul in the basement. But then for the kids, like, what's the point? I'm not gonna see my kids for a year. I'm not gonna see the grandkids. So we decided that if you're not symptomatic, you're not fever, you don't have symptoms, we would let the kids come on Shabbos. I mean, I what else?
Yeah,
are
you got to
gonna
live
do?
your life a little bit, you know?
Yeah, you have to a little bit. And we've gotten close. We've had some close calls, but thank God nobody here had, and thank God.
well, yeah,
I don't know,
you gotta
Steve,
be lucky
like
that nobody has any kind of,
vaccination.
pardon?
I said to Steve, I'll feel a lot better when when you've had your second vaccination. So now, after these 2 weeks pass, I'll feel a lot better. with you
God
over
willing.
here.
Yeah, the doctors were telling me not to get it, so I thought. And I'll tell you about the vaccine. My Machatan and my son Nussin married Rich Roberts. I don't know if you guys know who
I'm
Rich
from
Roberts
Lakewood.
from Lakewood.
Of course
I actually call him
Good
Rich.
people.
I call him Rich Roberts, and he
Bummer.
doesn't seem to mind. But he had the best kind of thought process about the vaccine. He said, look, COVID can not only kill you, it can leave you with permanent heart damage, permanent lung damage, permanent joint damage. He says, well, the vaccine, well, what are we worried about? Like, could it have side effects? Yeah, but it's probably not going to be as terrible as, God forbid, getting the thing. So that kind of put that decision to bed for me. And we were able to get it. My wife works in home care. She should have gotten it a while ago. And
So Steve, excuse me, your son is married to a Roberts?
yeah, my son Nussin.
And I saw that Yali Roberts just became a Kala.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
How do you see all this stuff, Julie?
And wait, let me explain to you.
I am so out of the loop.
No,
She has
but
vision.
It
the
comes
Roberts,
to her. It comes to her.
no,
Yeah.
the
Like a
Robertses are
projector in her
friends
head,
of
and it's like,
the Robertses are friends of ours that live in Cleveland. And
course, they're-
basically, our son Yehuda, who just got married, went
Mazel
out
tov.
with Yali Roberts. And he
Okay.
was trying to think of of guys for Yali, right? And then when I opened up my Hamadiyah on Friday night, I saw it said Yali Roberts is engaged to whatever, Aaron, whomever. And I'm like, I said to my Chana, oh my gosh, Yali Roberts is a Kala. I was just happy for her. But I didn't have any clue that you were mechutin with them.
Yes.
They're very special people.
Yes. Yes.
So they'll know our name. You know what I'm saying? They don't
Okay.
know us.
No, for sure. No,
But we tried. It just didn't go.
He and I get along. I think it's because, I don't ask him for anything and I don't bow down. You know what I'm saying? Like I can talk to him like a person and
He's
and
a
I like
ganze mensch. So our
100%.
friends, their names are Lovinger. They live in Cleveland and they're very close with the Robertses, which was how our connection quasi came up.
So I'm
It
going to tell
just
you,
happens.
I'll tell you a crazy story. When the kids got engaged, he calls me up, Rich. He says, look, the divorce going to cost $50,000. The wedding's going to cost $150,000. Give, don't give. It doesn't matter. I don't want it to be a pressure for you. Now, so I started calling people, like I work for very wealthy people. And I said,
Right.
how do I respond to this? Right? What am I going to give him $20,000? Like what? Does
Drop
that even,
in the bucket.
what does that even mean? Like, in other words, it was fair, but they're this, and he meant it. It was the nicest wedding I was ever invited to. I got to be honest with you.
And Steve, you should know one thing that I know from when we were, for that short period of time involved with them, such menschlich, good ehrliche
Really
people
are.
who
No,
do a lot of chesed.
Really do. No, they're fantastic. And Nussin's how you should see Nussin, Julie. I got to send you some pictures.
Where does he live?
They live in Tom's River. People, listen to me. Gitti Belsky and Leanne, not you,
Yes.
right? You didn't meet Nussin, but Gitti Belsky.
Yeah, I did.
You did meet him.
I did.
Gitti Belsky went over to Nussin, met him in on the street in Israel, didn't know him. He said, you're Stephen Geller's son.
No way.
The same thing happened to me. We were walking down the street somewhere, and this guy's walking up, and my husband's like, if that person's from Memphis, I'm going to scream, because everywhere we go, there's like someone. It's like, oh, look, it's a Thomas. Oh, look, it's a Cooper. Oh, look,
I
it's a
get
Pound.
this
Oh, look,
too.
So
My in-law kids say it about me.
And I went up to him and I said, "You related to Steve Geller?" He's like, "Yes, I am. He's my dad." Any other questions?
Where was it, Leanne? Do you remember?
Funny.
Hold on, Cyril. When we
No,
went
I
to
gotta
Israel,
post.
Where were we when we ran into Steve's son?
Julie, I'm gonna post the pictures.
Please
You're not gonna
do.
believe it. You're not gonna believe it.
And also, Steve,
Pardon?
you're in Far Rockaway?
I'm
or
in
Lawrence?
Cedarhurst. I'm in
Cedarhurst. Where
Yeah,
in
like where was
Cedarhurst?
So do you know where the Dunkin' Donuts is? The kosher
Yeah.
Dunkin' Donuts?
Wasn't it?
So I'm catty corner. It's one of the dead end streets called Livingston Place.
Right. So
Pardon?
my kids, my son David, the one
that
who
doesn't
is
help me.
married to a
I
girl
don't
from
know.
Edison Highland Park, they live in North Woodmere
Okay.
and they frequent Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes.
So I don't know,
Hey,
maybe you'll bump into them
Julie?
sometime.
Julie, can I ask you something? Do you know what kind of donuts they like?
All I know is that David asked me when we
Sure, yeah.
married off Yehuda 2.5 weeks ago. Listen to this, Mark. You'll appreciate it. And so will everybody else. David is a nursing home administrator, right?
Right.
So he's
We all know that.
very swamped with the whole COVID scene. And so he comes over to me. It was right before the wedding and the kids wanted to get donuts, right? So he comes over and he's like, "Ma, can I have your credit card?" So I looked at him and I'm like, "Sure. What do you want it for?" He goes, "Dunkin' Donuts. You're treating." I said, "Fine," right? So he takes it. I don't know, I would say a small percentage of their livelihood goes to Dunkin' Donuts. So Steve, when you said that, it just made me think of it. So he doesn't live very far from you.
Okay.
Is that the long version or the short version?
The short version, Mark.
Can
Okay,
you guys see
That's,
this?
yeah, this is the one I saw. This
So
is
this
the
is
son I saw.
Nussin and his twin sister.
So how could you
Shayna.
not know that that was your son? You'd have to like not be paying attention at all.
Yes, he's
That's
gorgeous and
nothing.
she's gorgeous.
That's Shayna is his twin. I have two sets of twins, Kanai Nahara. They're one, and I have here. Hold on.
And Nainahara.
Hold
they
on.
beautiful?
Wait. Give me 1 second. I know this is boring, but hold on.
No, it's not. I love this kind of stuff.
Usually we'll talk while you're bringing the pictures up.
Okay. Stop sharing. Okay, give me one. This is
I love it.
This is the picture here. That's me and him.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
look
it's
like
a
you spit him out, Steve.
It's crazy.
It's
really-
crazy.
It really is. And
Me and we were worried about looking like our mothers in old age.
I know.
I don't look like my mother. I look like my father.
Yeah, but
With the
Hinda,
sheitel.
but
haven't
Hinda looks like
changed.
your mother. When I saw her at the wedding, I was blown away, Julie.
Yeah, she
Blown
does.
away. And then when I heard her talking, because somebody was upset that your father was actually having to walk down the aisle and not go in his wheelchair. And somebody said, why are they making him walk? Like, that's what I hear. And she answered back because he has a grandson. He's walking down that aisle. I told him he's not going to roll down. And he did walk. And I couldn't.
We asked him, Sarah.
I was listening to your mother. Really
Yeah.
amazing. And
And
even
you
the
should,
looks.
and you should know one thing. I asked Dad, what do you want to do? This is your choice, right? And I'm laughing because I didn't realize, but Yehuda and his new wife, Sarah, both had, I noticed at the wedding, little microphones that the Zoom or the video people had put on them.
Oh, uh-huh.
And it was like a little too close for comfort because afterwards we were like, man, they could hear and you could hear everything that was going on.
Yeah, it was a beautiful wedding though, Julie. I was crying along with them. They were so emotional. I was so emotional. It was really beautiful. Anyway, you guys, I have to run. I have to go cook for the Super Bowl. And
So do I. I have
I'm
to actually
grilling
take a
for the
shower.
Super Bowl. Enjoy.
Favorite Super Bowl party.
but no Super Bowl party this year. We're going to just give Zadie some of his favorites and
Yum.
Make him feel good.
Send my love, Sarah, to both of them.
Everybody, love you
Thank you,
guys.
so good seeing all you guys.
thank you guys for this a lot. We got to do it again. All right. But
Yes,
it's-
we sure do.
Julie,
And don't
Mark.
forget to hug Cyril from
I will.
us.
I will.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Take
You
care.
guys, stay
Bye,
healthy.
guys. Bye, Mark. Bye, Phyllis.
Thank you, Steve.
Talk to Javi,
Thank
tell her I
Thank
said
you.
hi.
Thank you.
I'm going to send her a WhatsApp now when I hang up, if I can
Okay,
disconnect
you do that.
myself.
Stuart, we need Stuart and Brad and Joel.
So
Okay.
how do we do that?
Add them to the,
It's up to you, Julie.
all of you are going to be admins on the WhatsApp chat, so you can all add them to the WhatsApp group.
Alrighty.
Okay. Take care, guys.
Bye, guys. Bye, girls.